Picture it. The year was 1963, and the Temptations are performing at the iconic Chappy's Lounge. The air is electric. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation. In the dim light of the backstage, tension is simmering. Paul Williams, always the professional, is trying to keep his cool. He's got that steady presence, the kind that reassures everyone around him that everything will be okay. But tonight, something is off. Elbridge Bryant, feeling the weight of whatever demons he's battling at the moment, has been hitting the bottle hard. As the Temptations take the stage, their harmonies are tight and the moves are slick, and the crowd is loving it. An outstanding 3 encores, but then Bryant starts to falter. He's erratic, his steps are off, and he's clearly intoxicated. Williams shoots him a look, half concern, half frustration, and as the performance continues, Bryant's behavior becomes more disruptive. The audience can feel the tension, and it's a stark contrast to the usually flawless performances they're known for. Backstage is complete chaos. Words are exchanged, tempers flare, and it culminates in a physical altercation between Paul Williams and Elbridge Bryant. This incident is a turning point. For the group, it signifies the end of Bryant's journey with the Temptations. The aftermath of that night would see Bryant leaving, paving the way for the group to continue without him entering David Ruffin. A crossroads in the history of one of the greatest Motown acts of all time. The stage lights at Chappy's Lounge dim, casting a hush over the eager audience. 5 impeccably dressed members of the Temptations take the stage. As the opening chords of their song begin to play, the crowd erupts in applause. Paul, with his smooth vocals and charismatic stage presence, takes the lead. The group moves in perfect harmony, their synchronized steps a testament to countless hours of rehearsal, the blood, sweat, and tears poured into their craft. The air is charged with the energy of their performance, each note, each move drawing the audience deeper into their spell. Otis Williams, he recalls that night with a mix of regret and resolve. It was a tough time for all of us, he says. We were on the brink of something great, but Al's behavior threatened to derail everything we had worked so hard for. Al was a talented guy, but that night, he was a shadow of himself. They would try to cover for him to keep the show going, but it was clear something had to change. The tension backstage was palpable, and it spilled over into the performance, and the audience could feel it. In the end, they had to make a tough decision. Al's departure was inevitable. It wasn't just about that night, but it was about the future of the Temptations as a whole. They had to do what was best for the group, even if it meant letting go of a friend. And it really was a defining moment for them. They had to regroup, find their footing again, and move forward. It wasn't easy, but necessary. And in the end, it made them stronger. As the performance came to an end, the tension only intensified backstage. Paul Williams, already frustrated by the night's events, wanted to call it quits. He didn't feel like going up anymore. He knew that continuing with Al Bryant's state would only lead to disaster. But Al, heavily intoxicated and belligerent, wasn't having it. Slurring his words, he used the F word, escalating the already volatile situation. The other members tried to calm him down, but it was too late. The confrontation quickly spiraled out of control. In the heat of the moment, before anyone could intervene, Paul Williams, on the floor, injured, almost went blind, cut on his nose. He had been hit with a bottle. The scuffle led him to needing medical attention, and he was rushed to the hospital. Now, in the movie, it was on some complete superhero stuff. I don't know. He got hit with a bottle twice and then went right on stage to perform. I don't know anybody in their right mind that would be able to do that under any circumstances. But the incident was a harsh wake-up call for the Temptations. It underscored the need for change. For Williams, it was a moment of both physical pain and profound disappointment. It also marked the beginning of a new chapter for the group. Despite the chaos, Paul Williams didn't initially want Al Bryant to be fired. Paul was known for his compassionate nature and saw Bryant not just as a bandmate, but also as a brother struggling with personal demons. He believed in giving second chances, hoping that Al could overcome his issues and get back on track. He thought they could work through it, get Al the help he needed, but the rest of them knew that their future hinged on that tough decision. Paul's reluctance was rooted in their shared history and the bond they had formed over the years making music together. He didn't want to turn his back on Al, despite the severity of the situation. Al Bryant's final straw came at the Motown Christmas show at the Fox Theater. The Temptations were in full swing, performing their signature moves that had the crowd going wild. Paul Williams and Melvin Franklin, with their magnetic stage presence, were executing a dance routine that had the audience on their feet. Otis Williams, always the motivator, urged Al Bryant to join in, but Al, with his attitude on full display, dismissed the idea. He says, "We're the pretty boys. We're gonna lay back and look good for the, He refused to participate. Otis, ever the professional, didn't let Al's attitude derail the performance. He carried on, determined to give the audience the show they came for, but the atmosphere backstage was tense. Everyone, including Al, knew that this was the breaking point. The show ended and the realization set in. Al Bryant's time with the Temptations was over. His behavior had finally crossed the line, and it was clear to everyone involved that a change was necessary. They had to move forward. The Temptations were bigger than any one member, and they needed everyone on the same page to keep their momentum going. With Al's departure, the Temptations embarked on a new chapter. It was a moment of painful transition, but it ultimately set the stage for even greater success and iconic performances in the years to come. In the end, the group's collective resolve outweighed Paul's initial hesitation. They knew that for the Temptations to survive and thrive, they had to part ways with Bryant. It was a heart-wrenching decision, especially for Paul, who had always been the glue holding the group together. After his departure from the Temptations, Al Bryant faced a challenging road. He joined several other Detroit singing groups, including the Premiers, but his career never quite took off as he had hoped. Meanwhile, David Ruffin's rise to prominence within the Temptations was meteoric. Joining the group in 1964, Ruffin's powerful and soulful voice quickly became the centerpiece of their sound. The Temptations' first big hit, My Girl, featured Ruffin's unforgettable lead vocals and catapulted the group to stardom. His charismatic stage presence and unique vocal style made him a standout frontman, and he became one of the most iconic figures in Motown history. Ruffin's tenure with the Temptations saw the group achieve numerous hits, including Ain't Too Proud to Beg, I Wish You Would Rain, and more. His contributions were instrumental in defining the group's sound during their Classic 5 period. However, like Bryant, Ruffin's journey was also marked by personal struggles, and he eventually left the group in 1968 to pursue a solo career. Despite their different paths, both Al Bryant and David Ruffin left an indelible mark on the legacy of the Temptations as a whole. Their stories highlight the highs and lows of life in the spotlight, and their contributions continue to resonate with fans around the world. Sometime after Al Bryant's departure from the Temptations, a poignant reunion takes place backstage at a show. Otis Williams is focused on an upcoming performance. In the midst of flurry of activity, a familiar figure catches his eye. It's Al, but he's hardly recognizable. Bryant, once a vibrant member of the group, now looks like a shadow of his former self. His clothes are disheveled, his eyes carry a sadness, and the toll of his struggles is painfully evident. The encounter is brief but charged with emotion. Otis sees the man who was once his brother in arms now struggling with the weight of his choices. It's a stark reminder of the harsh realities behind the music industry's glitz and glamour. Seeing Al like that broke my heart, Otis would later recall. We had our differences, but we were family, no matter what. I wish things could have been differently for him. This brief reunion underscores the personal cost of the journey they embarked on together. It serves as a chapter in the story of the Temptations, a reminder of the highs and lows that come with fame. Bryant's health deteriorated over the years, and he eventually succumbed to cirrhosis of the liver on October 26, 1975, at the young age of 36. His death was a tragic end to a life that had once shown so much promise. Al Bryant's story serves as a poignant reminder of the personal cost that can come with fame and the importance of seeking help when struggling with addiction. His legacy, though, marred by his struggles, remains a part of the Temptations' history and a broader narrative of Motown's golden era. Huge shout out to @Temptin_Temptations for the clutch correction. Appreciate the assist in getting the story right. How many more stories like this are hidden behind the glitz and glamour of the music industry? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.